welcome to Hybrid Horizons 2025, powered by Castrol High-Spec. My name's Amanda Davies, and I'm the Media Comms and Sponsorship Manager for Castrol. As Audi's partner in their first Formula One season in 2026, we're really excited to launch this event here at their fabulous F1 facility in Neuburg. Audi have an incredible reputation in motorsport, in innovation, and in the field of hybrid technology development. A huge thank you to all of you for watching now. We're thrilled to have you with us, and we've got lots of fantastic content for you to enjoy during Hybrid Horizons. English is our primary language, but there are other language options. So please select your preferred language from the drop-down menu, either bottom right if you're watching live, or top left if you're watching on catch-up. And last thing before I introduce the guests, we will have a Q&A at the end of the chat, so please do get your questions in because we'd love to hear from you and we'll try to get through as many as we possibly can. Okay, let's get going. And first, let's do a few quick introductions. Hi.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourself, Stefan?
Sure, Amanda. So first of all, hello also from my side. Hello to everybody who is listening and watching us. My name is Stefan Dreyer, and together with Adam Baker, we are the managing directors of the Audi Formula Racing GmbH here at the site in Neuburg. I've been also, I'm the technical officer responsible for the development of the Formula One power unit for our first entry in 2026. And I have been involved in the Audi Motorsport programs in different roles and positions in the past 25 years. I'm really excited to be here. So thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to an interesting discussion, answering some questions and giving you hopefully also some insights on who we are and what we do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Amanda. Hello to everyone listening. My name is Rolf Michel. I'm the Managing Director of Audi Sport GmbH. So this is a 100% subsidiary of Audi. And basically, we're responsible for, let me say, the most emotional spearheads, so the Audi RS models. Probably some of you know about the Audi RS4 or the Audi RS6, and also the latest product, the first fully electric car, the RS e-tron GT. Beside, you also have with Audi exclusive in our company the widest variety of customizing your car. So every wish could be fulfilled. The third pillar is the performance projects where we still support our existing customers from GT racing with parts and technologies. So basically, Audi Sport is known as the synonym for the motorsport activities in the last 10 years.
Fantastic. So being a new team, that gives you lots of opportunities to innovate and learn. Can you give us a bit of the backstory about why Audi decided to enter the field in 2026? Obviously, we know that hybrid's going to play a bigger role. Yeah. Was that an incentive or more of a challenge to Audi to launch their F1 project?
So Amanda, I think there were multiple reasons for Audi to enter Formula One, and I will try to highlight a few of them. So just when you look back in the motorsport history of Audi, I think we have proven in top-class motorsports that we are able to be quite successful. And when you look at it from that perspective, it almost feels like a consequence that we now enter really the pinnacle of motorsport, the top-level motorsports, which is Formula One. Formula One as a global platform is, I would say, the biggest. The reach is amazing, still growing. And I mean, just watch the races. It's incredible what the organization has done to make Formula One to what it is now. But also from the regulation point of view, especially in the technical and on the financial side, there have been really key changes which makes it attractive for us. So on the financial side, on the power unit side, they have introduced also a cost cap regulation, which especially for us as a newcomer makes the project and the business case plannable. Then, of course, you have the regulation, which gives the guidance and the limits. So that is very attractive. And on the technological side, let's start with the car. I mean, what we have here, what you see here, Amanda, is yes, of course, it's a show car, but it represents the dimension of the cars which are currently being raced. And for 2026, the cars will be much smaller. So the wheelbase will be reduced by 200 millimeters, going down to 3.4 meters. The width will be reduced from 2 meters down to 1.9 meters, so minus 100 millimeter. And the overall car weight will be much lighter, with 30 kilograms. And on top of that, on the aerodynamic side, it will be a complete different car, 20% less drag, 20% less downforce, just roughly to name a few. And that linked with a complete new power unit is really the biggest change in Formula One in the past years. So on the power unit side, Audi was involved from the very beginning in the negotiations and discussions with the power unit manufacturer, with the FIA, with the Formula One organization. And at the end, from a high level, we agreed on to keep the V6 1.6 liter base engine as the combustion engine, but link it to a very strong e-motor, to an ERS system with maximum of 350 kilowatts, which is almost triple of what we have now, leading into a split of roughly 50-50 power between ICE and ERS. And last but not least, also very important to mention, and also a key factor, sustainable fuel. It was very important for us that we raise the engine with sustainable fuel. There we have a shared interest and a common interest also with the FOM, who wants to be net zero by 2013. So that was also very important for us to name a few, and 2026 really for us is the right year to enter. So now we're here.
And there's still a little more than a year to go before the first race. So as the power unit development enters its final phase here in Neuburg, how's it been to get here? And can you tell us a bit more about the collaboration with BP and Castrol?
So thank you for reminding me. 1 year. Time is ticking down, and actually every morning when I go to my office, I see the countdown, and I believe this morning it was one year and 4 days, if I'm not mistaken. But actually, when you think of where we started in 2022, we have really come a long way, and we can be proud of it. But then again, the challenge we had to really link the company build-up, which we had to found also based on regulation, the Audi Formula Racing GmbH, and parallel and develop our power unit was, and I would say still is, the biggest challenge we are facing. And just think about it. We had to adapt the whole infrastructure to adapt to the Formula One use case, office space, assembly areas, labs, a huge testing facility. Then think of the IT landscape, ERP system, PLM system, CAD, financial system linked to processes a company like that needs. So we have really, really come a long way. And on the technical side, and you mentioned it, for us, the most important point was, and I really mean it, to have a strong fuel and lube partner on our side from the very beginning. Because in 2026, the competition will be strong also between the fuel and lube suppliers and BP Castrol and us, and we talked about it before, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, in the future, have a very strong working relationship. And we don't only develop the fuel, we also develop the EV fluid, we develop the engine oil, the hydraulic fluid, I mean, you name it. And I think we share the right mindset, and we want to be best in class in all the fluids we are developing together. And BP Castrol has the experience and the know-how to do so.
I mean, what an exciting thing to be part of. I mean, I can literally feel the buzz walking around here. I want to draw attention to the other car that we're sharing the stage with. Rolf, can you tell us a bit more about this car?
Probably this was the step, what Stefan described with the move to the Formula One, also for us to go with an RS model in the fully electric world. So this is the RS e-tron TT Performance. We were the first one that introduced a fully electric performance car into the market in 2021. Now the product improvement hits the market, and with that car, you're up to 925 horsepower and 0 to 100 in about 2.5 seconds. So that was the first car. When I drove the first test, but I really got a bad stomach sitting at the steering wheel because it's so fast. For us, it was also like a giant move to set in that electrified path, what we also share with the Formula One colleagues. But for us, the main thing is really to fulfill customers' needs and requirements worldwide. So luckily, we have a wide range within combustion engines and fully electric cars, as you see here. And also with a benchmark in the recharging, for example, up to 320 kilowatts. But for us, this path needs to be gone step by step. So also the PHEV technology will play a major role because we want to combine the best of both worlds and then also fulfill the requirements for our customers. So I think we share a lot of thoughts how to enter a new chapter. And with all the experience that Audi Sport has on the motorsport and on the serial side, I think we're on the best way also to fulfill in the next oncoming years all the requirements of the performance customers.
mean, Audi have always been driven by elite performance, both on and off the track. And, you know, in motorsport, you've excelled in every field that you've entered, most recently with the Dakar rally last year. And I think one of the reasons why Audi have been so successful is that mindset, which can be summed up, I guess, in the phrase synonymous with the brand, Vorsprung durch Technik, progress through technology. So as you take that giant step into Formula One, why don't you talk us through the history of those innovations, and particularly the hybrid technology?
Well, I think it is independent when we were and where we competed, may it be the touring cars with the DTM or the WEC with the Le Mans wins, up to Formula E and even with the Dakar. Audi has always set the standard with the latest innovations and being a pioneer. So, as Stefan mentioned, the entry into the Formula One is the logical next step. And I think Audi could also learn a lot of electrifying the drivetrain over the past decade. So not only the drivetrain, but innovations like TFSI, TDI, the virtual rearview mirror, up to laser light, they were all invented, innovated, and introduced closely with the motorsport guys. And I think this is also for us that motorsport is and will stay in our DNA. And therefore, we began in 2012 to hybridize the engine with the Le Mans car, and we ended up in a fully electric drivetrain with the range extender, winning the Dakar in 2024. And luckily, there's one guy that has written this history actively, and this is Stefan, in all the different stages. So I think, Stefan, there's no better one than you with your team to express all the details about that.
Yeah, thank you, Rolf. Now I feel old.
Yes, but time goes by.
Yeah, no, time flies. But no, it was an incredible journey, and I'm very proud to be part of it. And talking about hybrids, the first hybrid we brought 2012 to Le Mans with the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. And honestly, in that year, we were not sure if the hybrid technology will succeed. And so we competed actually with two concepts. One was the standard, the Ultra, with the standard combustion engine, and the hybrid. And I remember the time when we crossed the finish line. It was an incredible feeling, winning in Le Mans with the first hybrid powertrain. It felt like a dream come true. And don't forget, the R18 was then unbeaten in 3 years in a row, 12, 13, 14, also winning the World Endurance Championship. I believe it was in 2013. And then moving on, we entered as the first OEM in Formula E, full electric. And even though nobody knew at the time that at one point we will do Formula One, it was such an important learning phase, because during that years, it was 2017, 18, with season 4 building up. We put in a lot of know-how, build up the competence to do our in-house development for the e-motor, the control unit, the machine software, the fast software. So that was very valuable for us. And then, of course, the next level was, like Rolf mentioned, the RSQ e-tron in Dakar. I mean, not many people believe that we can do it. It was a highly complex but efficient powertrain. I mean, unbelievable. And already in the first year, we proved that we can win stages. And then in the final and third approach, and Rolf was there, we finally made it, and it felt incredible that a powertrain like that, and it was a hybrid powertrain, can win Dakar in Saudi Arabia. So that was cool.
Really
and now we're here
incredible.
to attack the next one.
Absolutely. And we've already said that Audi dominate motorsport in any field they enter, but how does the F1 experience differ?
So, how does it differ? I mean, as I said before, I think as a team here at Neuburg, we have the competence to develop conventional, hybrid, and full electric powertrains. But when you think of Formula One, and I said it before, it's the pinnacle of motorsport, it's cutting-edge technology, but even more so, the competition is just simply said brutal. It's brutal. And to be competitive, you have to develop fast. And compared to what I know in the past, I mean, the speed wasn't like it is now in Formula One. So it's the number of iteration loop development iterations you have to do to be competitive. And there we also have to be clear. The competitors are well advanced. They have their methods, their tools, the systems, and we're working really hard to catch up. But it will take some time, and hopefully at one point we will be there or even ahead to battle against them. The second part is, and this is really, impressive, is car testing. So when you think of car testing in Formula One for 2026, and just recapture new car, new power unit, and also, I have not mentioned this before, a new control unit electronically. So everything new. And the regulation allows you to go testing 3 times, 3 days each, total of 9 days, beginning in January. So if you have a problem with a long lead part or a long lead development component, you start the season, I don't say the word, but in a bad situation. And when I compare to LMP1, for example, in Le Mans, we had 50 test days, 60 test days. And if we had a problem, we just added another test. So you really have to be spot on from the very beginning, get your tools, your methods right to be able to compete. And what else did we do to mitigate? I think it's also to tell you a little bit about it, is we have heavily invested in our test facility, in our infrastructure. So we have invested in all the dynos, types and numbers allowed by the regulation. For example, 3 single cylinders, 3 power unit dynos, 1 powertrain dyno, 1 hot gas dyno, and many, many more component dynos, adding up to 22 dynos, huge test facility. And it's now down to us to use it as efficient and as car-like as possible, to prepare as good as possible so we are ready to race. But the challenge is unbelievable.
It is a huge challenge. And given that challenge, what are your feelings about the first season, and what do you think your chances are to dominate the field?
I have no time for feelings, just kidding. No, this is also a difficult one. I think first we have to make it to 26 and through 26. And it's very hard to understand from outside how really difficult and how complex and how challenging it is to enter the Formula One with the competition that I mentioned before. But what's, I think, very important for myself, but also for Audi, for the project, is that we show the world that we can progress. Maybe not race by race, but at least over the race season and from season to season. Because at the end, Audi is in the sports to win. That's our main objective, and we work as hard as we can to make it happen.
Stefan, thank you. That's fascinating. So in a moment, we're going to throw the discussion open. So do get those questions in and use the text box next to your video window. Before we get the Q&A going, I want to introduce my final guest. Stefan talked earlier about the importance of Audi's partnership with Castrol. So to hear from Castrol's side, I'd like to introduce Castrol's Global Sponsorship Manager, Donald Smith. Hi, Don. I think it's really clear that progress and success rely on great teamwork. And in Audi race cars, we could talk about driver partnerships, Tom Christensen, Carlos Sainz, but also under the bonnet, engineering partnerships as well. So before we start the audience questions, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Castrol and Audi in racing? But also, why did Castrol want to partner with Audi in Formula One? And what are we really doing behind the scenes with the partnership?
Well, hi everyone, it's great to be here. And as you've heard, we have a great history of working together with Audi. And this goes way back into the World Rally Championships in the 80s. Where we were successful in the World Rally Championship, winning with Audi. And we used this as a platform to develop our full synthetic engine oils. And then as Audi moved into DTM, for many years, we were technical partners. And that was a great environment, again, to develop. And we used that as a platform to actually launch our Castrol Edge product. The success continued when Audi went to Le Mans. And that was a very special environment for us on hybrid. That was the ultimate test for hybrid technology and development. So we learned a lot from that to be able to implement that into our products. And that relationship has continued following Le Mans endurance racing with the Audi R8. We actually used the Audi R8 engine to develop Castrol Edge, and we simulated the development of that engine and the lubricant using all the Formula One test tracks, so the Formula One tracks and Le Mans. Then we continued on in our partnership as they moved into the Formula E and finally Dakar. So we've got this amazing history and heritage of working together. And innovation, I think as Rolf said, looking at the innovation of motorsport for Audi and how they apply that, Castrol have also used that, be it from the hybrid in the Le Mans, be it the DTM environment for developing our Castrol Edge product. Formula One, of course, 2 years ago or just over, Audi made the decision to move into Formula One. And we were very pleased when Audi made contact to us and asked us if we could be their partner going forward for Formula One. So in line with this great success, we wanted to continue the relationship, and we quickly established a new program to start the development of lubricants and fuel development for the new powertrain. And obviously, as we've progressed things, we're now also entered as a sponsor of the team. So we've had this great success. It's been a great partnership, and I think it's important to us is our ways of working, our co-engineering, working together. And this is the opportunity that we've seen with Formula One going forward to continue that partnership and strive towards more success together in the future.
Anything to add from Audi's side?
So, Donald, maybe from my side, and I know we have known each other for quite a long time, and I think there's not much to say. But as you said, the Formula One is the ultimate proving ground, and we work hard, as I said before, to really develop the best liquids in class. It's not only the fuel, it's also the engine oil, the gearbox oil, the EV fluid, hydraulic fluid. And I want to highlight again how important those fluids will be in overall car performance. I mean, we are talking, half a second of lap time if you add it all up, and that's a huge performance differentiator. And we work very hard with our know-how and our mindset to achieve this. And if I may comment, because last week I visited you in Pangburn, and I was invited to be part of an employee event. And what I felt there, and I want to comment on this, was a staff full of dedication. I felt emotion, high interest, and openness, engagement. I mean, everything. And at the end, this is what excites me, because at the end, it's the people who do our sports. And I think BP Castrol and us share the right mindset. And if that's correct, you can push the technological boundaries in all directions. And I'm glad to be part of this journey. So also thank you very much from our side.
Oh, thank you.
And this is what it makes. I think you need this dedication and the expert at every certain spot, if it is Le Mans or Dakar. So this dedication from our team, from the different partners, this makes at the end the victories and the titles, and of course also the innovation for the serial things. Because if they prove under those conditions, like at 24 hours in Le Mans or in Dakar, they can prove everywhere. So that's, for me, the main thing.
Thanks, Rolf. And as you know, we've been joined by guests from all over the world that are keen to get their questions to you. So why don't we take the first question now? For Stefan, how much of your existing earlier engine technology have you been able to leverage in the development of new power units? And what is the impact of it having to be hybrid? That's from David.
So that's a good question. Let's talk about the power unit first, because as it is defined in the regulation, it's the internal combustion engine, the e-motor, the control unit, which controls the e-motor, and the high voltage battery. So if I go through the components, on the e-motor and on the CUK, which is the inverter, as said before, we were able to gain a lot of experience during our days in Formula E. And this allowed us to start our Formula One development at a really good level. On the battery side, I would say very good competence in-house. Why? Because we developed the RP6 battery, which was the LMP1 car in 2016. And we also developed the high voltage battery for the RSQ e-tron with a partner together, which also was successful. So also there, quite a good level to pick up for Formula One. On the internal combustion engine, it's a little bit different. And it's not like we don't know how to develop engines. I think we have proven with our TFSI engines, TDI engines, also the four-cylinder turbo engine in DTM, that we can win everything. But in Formula One, the combustion process is so special, so complex, and also not allowed by regulation in the other race series, that we are lacking experience and know-how in this field. Therefore, we work really hard trying to gain time or gain know-how as much as possible with a steep learning curve. But I mean, it'll be tough because the others have this experience. As I said before, the V6 1.6 liter base engine combustion volume is the same. It's still the same. And it's just not realistic that you pick up that work in 2 years. But we work as hard as possible. This you can be sure, to be there as fast as we can.
And a question in for Donald from Cecile. Why do companies like Castrol invest in sponsorship deals? Is it just exposure?
Well, obviously, we all know that Formula One has been showing great growth recently, so that's definitely a factor that we look at that. But what's important for Castrol is the credibility around us working together with our partner, co-engineering our products and showcasing how we can develop and improve performance working in partnership rather than just providing products themselves. Now, that's one thing of actually showcasing it, but what we then move to is how do we exploit that and utilize that to showcase to our customers. Our customers are very important, and that's our philosophy, not just with motorsport, it's with our customers. We want to work together to improve the performance of both parties. So we've got lots of opportunities outside of the races, including this great facility we're in today, to actually showcase the product, our partnership out to our customers, and that philosophy of working together to add value.
Thanks, Don. Rolf, there's a question from Goran for you. F1 vehicles are not really cars. I've heard that driving one is more like piloting a high-performance fighter jet. So is there truly something from F1 hybrid powertrain that you can see making its way into the Audi RS model? And if so, what?
Nice question. I think, yeah, it's really like rather piloting a fighter jet. Of course, you can't take a one-on-one part out directly to a serial car. But as I described before, and also Stefan did, we want to continue this path. And if it's not the part in its original, of course, we use the experience, for example, of efficiency things, of recharging things. So even at the Dakar, we did it with the temperature tests and so on. And I think the toughness and the brutal competition, as Stefan described, is for us the best region to test these technologies to and over its limit. So there will be definitely an exchange regarding drivetrain or anything like that, just for the attention to detail that is essential for the success in a motorsport, and of course also in describing and concepting an RS model. So let's see, but we will continue the path.
Thank you, Rolf. Stefan, there's one from Ruben for you. With Audi launching as a full team in 2026, how is the relationship with Sauber working for this upcoming season?
So the relationship with Sauber is actually quite similar to what I described before with BP Castrol. And there were two things at the very beginning which was of great importance. One was a team, so we can have and kick off a technical collaboration as soon as possible. And of course, the fuel and lube partner, which we have with BP Castrol. So on the Sauber side, we started really to technically work together on the power unit integration in the car as we develop the power unit. And why is that important? Because you don't want the car to build around the power unit. You want to do it in parallel. And there I have the same with James Key, who is the technical director at Hinwil, and his team. We also share the right mindset because we, as Audi Sport, we come from a past where we always had the focus on the overall car performance. We were not worried so much about if we have the best engine or the best chassis. We wanted to have the quickest car. And so this is already the shared mindset I'm talking about, what we have with our colleagues in Hinwil. And it was very important to start this collaboration as early as possible. But keep in mind, from a regulation side, the aerodynamic work really picked up now, starting in January 25. So there will be still many impacts on us, on the power unit side, as we go along. And then it's up for us to discuss and to decide what can we do, what will be integrated at a later stage, what's the best thing to do from an overall car performance. But I really have to say the collaboration is perfect, and I have full trust in the people we have. And as I said before, it's the people who make the sport that we can make it.
Great, thank you. Rolf, there's one from Bogdan for you. Considering the long history of Audi Sport, what do you see as the standout achievement?
Well, these, about 40 years in a sum. I think the spirit of the Audi Sport team, which is exactly now transferred to the Audi Formula Racing, is that never giving up and the attention to detail. So a really partnership-oriented collaboration. everybody really, really focusing on his goals, but never forgetting the others. And I think, to keep this spirit through all the series we've competed, and luckily we've won a lot of them, is for me very special. And I saw it at the end also in the last race with the Dakar thing. So even if there are totally different conditions, totally different requirements, so the team was able to change and adapt itself in an immense fast way. And therefore, I'm completely with Stefan. So the team from Audi Formula Racing has the same spirit. And this is what I consider as the outstanding achievement from our side, really, and to keep this path going, even if the competition is brutal. But I'm absolutely convinced that with that spirit, the team is itself really, really on a perfect way.
And Donald, one for you. Can we see the BP Castrol branding on the race car?
Yes, you definitely will. We've, like I say, we started a technical cooperation over 2 years ago, and that was priority. We needed to start getting working in co-engineering ASAP. So that was great that we, based on the back of a strong foundation, before we even got to the final contract position, we started that technical cooperation. And then over the time, we've also agreed for having our brands represented on the car going forward in 2026. We're looking forward to it and continue with this great legacy.
Okay, Stefan, there's one for you. What role does AI and simulation technology play in Audi's F1 car development process?
So let's start with simulation. It plays a key role. It's almost like a synonym to Formula One. So everything we do in the technical development, there's always simulation. So we are here at the Hybrid Horizon. So when you talk about combustion development, closely linked to BP Castrol as our partner, we also do a lot of simulation on that side. Then the standard simulation, we do a lot of simulation in terms of overall car performance, energy management, driving strategies. I mean, to make a long story short, there's no technical area where simulation does not play a major role. On the AI, I think it's an upcoming technology. I think as of now, we are not as far advanced as we should be, to be clear about it. But for sure, it is one of the fields we will heavily invest in to pick up the pace, because I'm sure it will be introduced on a big scale in Formula One.
Okay. And Stefan, we've got another question for you. How steep has the learning curve been since starting? And what is the most surprising thing that you've learned?
So the learning curve is extremely steep, and I would describe it as the steepest I have experienced in my past. And now it's up to us to continue and maybe increase the slope even a little bit more, because we want to catch up as fast as possible. The second part of the question was what?
If we could just go back to that last question, we can just have a quick look at it. I think it was about, what was surprising to you? What was
anything special, you mean? Not really, it's all special to me, because it's all new. And I think I've mentioned enough examples. I mean, no matter if it is testing, if it's infrastructure, if it's company build-up, it's the development. It's such a wide range of competences and topics we have to tackle in this short period that there wasn't anything special. Let's put it like that.
Okay. Rolf, how do you think customer expectations will change in the future when it comes to high-performance road vehicles? That's from Lakshmi Kumar.
So I think the expectations have ever been the highest if you go for these performance cars. Those customers pay a lot of money, but want to always have the best. So the pinnacle also of the portfolio. But I think, the expectations will rise with new framework like UX, UI experiences, with the digitalization and so on. But I think also one thing will stay. It's the emotional aspect, getting from A to B. It's not only getting to a special point, but it's the way to it. And what we clearly see is that people, of course, they are focused on latest innovations, but they still want to keep the essentials of a high-performance car, and this is an emotional driving experience, independent if it's combustion-like, fully electric, or with a PHEV. But I think this is the main thing that will stay, and be sure that we also will follow this way in Audi Sport to always have the latest innovations. And let's see what's in the package in the next years, but I'm very confident about that.
Great. Stefan, another one from Camilla for you. From a race perspective, are there different mechanical challenges to consider for hybrid units?
You mean for the use case Formula One? I think that's the question from Camilla. I think one of the big mechanical challenges we will have, and all the power unit manufacturers will have, to really find the best way on how to link the big e-motor with 350 kilowatts mechanically to the internal combustion engine. I think this is on a new level in Formula One, and I'm quite sure and positive that everybody struggles a little bit with it. There's still some time left, don't worry. But this is what I think is one big difference compared to how Formula One is now and other race series have been in the past.
Okay, great. And another one for you. This one's from Olga. What unique advantages does Audi bring to F1 that will allow you to challenge established teams from day one? And how do you plan to bridge the performance gap in such a short time frame?
This is a difficult one to answer, and I think we also have to be clear. Nobody can expect from us that we be podium or win in the first year. It will just not happen. So how I described it before, for me, really the key is, and of great importance, that we have to show that we can improve, to continue the learning curve I just talked about before, to continue with the slope and then show the world that we can improve race by race, or at least during the race season. And then eventually we have to trust in what we can do. I think we are all very good and well-educated people, and watch us. We will be there.
Definitely be watching. Rolf, one for you. How efficient are the hybrid cars, and what are the requirements from infrastructure point of view for the entire car park to be majorly hybrid?
Well, I think the PF cars are focused to combine the best of both worlds, so efficiency plays a major role. It depends on how you place the PHEV, if it is a performance, so just a booster, or for the everyday suitability, which for me makes more sense, because with that car you're able to access a certain distance fully electric, and this gives you also the possibility to really, let me say, enlarge the variety of a use case. So for me it's a real good combination. And regarding the infrastructure, of course the car, also depending on technology, even if it charges itself with a combustion engine, or it can be charged from externally. So if it's a PHEV, it's a plug-in. Therefore, of course, a wall box or the normal infrastructure, which is really extending over the countries, is absolutely enough. But you were always free, because you have the free choice of using which drivetrain. And I think this makes it really, really attractive for several use cases. Therefore, also for me, definitely the way to go, always to have the best of both worlds. Keep in mind.
Thank you. Stefan, one for you from Alejandro. Regarding the power of the new MGU, despite its huge efficiency, the use of oil cooling is still an option, or could be better to change the phase change cooling, for example. If that were not possible, what properties of the oil could be critical to increase thermal performance?
So,
big question.
Yeah, so Alessandro is a technical guy, I can tell.
Absolutely.
And I hope he will understand that I will not go into deep detail. But what I can say is that the technical concepts mentioned in this question, of course, we have all analyzed. Which direction we went, I cannot say here, of course.
Okay, thank you. And are there any batteries for these race cars utilising solid-state technology? Is that even allowed with the new regulations? That's from J.R. Manzo.
So what I can say is that yes, it is allowed by regulation. And that was also an interesting point when we had the discussions on the technical regulation side with FOM, FIA, and the other POM, that we wanted a wide advantage also on the ERS side, and that includes the battery. So when you read the regulation, the high voltage battery regulation is wide open. And yes, it does also allow solid state batteries. If we use it or not, this I will not tell you.
Top secret. So Donald, one for you. How is the powerhouse partnership between Castrol, BP and Audi F1 driving the future of high-performance lubrication and motorsport innovation? And what gives Castrol the competitive edge that sets it apart from every other lubricant company from Audi's perspective?
Well, I think firstly I'd look back at the history and the heritage that we've talked in a lot of detail about. That gives us a lot of credibility and showcases how we are very capable as an organization of working together with our partner to deliver performance and benefits to both parties, and how we use that cooperation and co-engineering to improve our products to make sure that they are best fit for our customers and consumers. As a brand as well, I think from a technical side, that's great. Also from a brand cooperation, from a marketing position, we've seen great activity from Audi themselves and Vorsprung-Technik, and look at all the marketing campaigns. Combine that with Castrol as well. We have a great history of activation of sponsorship from a communications point of view, but also, as I mentioned earlier, how we actually utilize our sponsorships importantly with our customers and use these experiences to bring to life that collaboration and working together philosophy that we wish to install in our business, but also working with our customers. So I think that is a very powerful and unique situation that Castrol and Audi have. And I think bringing that together now with the opportunity with Formula One really sets us all in a powerful position to drive our brands and our businesses and working with our customers and distributors and suppliers going forward for the benefit of all parties.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Don. So I think we've got time for 2 more questions. Stefan, how do we start the IC engine design from thermodynamic point of view for the F1 race car? What are the first principles involved and how are targets set?
So that's also a very good question, especially the second half on how our targets set. And we spend a lot of time on that. And I'm sure all the competitors and incumbents do the same. And when you look back, for example, in 2014, when the new regulation came and the V6 1.6 liter came, I'm sure everybody did the same. But there was one who came and just did it better than the others. So you have to be very careful with the targets you set yourself. You can never be sure that the targets you have defined will also lead you to success. So you also have to be very, very careful. And there is no right or wrong answer from my point. We do it from an engineering judgment. We do it from of course, staff we have hired also with Formula One experience to see what they bring in that project and the know-how they have. But to sum it up, it's very difficult to know that you're really defining the right targets. And from an ICE point of view, I think this was the first part of the question. I mean, the first thing you do is study the regulation. You study the regulation as hard as you can, and then you go into the concept phase. Then you start with single cylinders, you move to the multi-cylinders and go from there.
Okay. Thank you. Final question to you, and it's to Stefan from Luke.
Okay.
On the technical side, what is the main topic keeping you awake at night as you prepare for the 2026 season?
Well, it's also a difficult one, but I think what keeps me awake is, that we have forgotten something. Because it's such, and I said it before, and it's really hard to understand. It's so wide, it's so complex, it's so many topics involved from a company point of view, but also from a power unit, powertrain development point of view, that there's also a high risk that you forget something. And then usually when you find out it's too late and you're like, oh, why didn't I think about it before? So this is what I usually do at night. Think about it.
This at night. So I remember every project we had the same feelings about that. Did we think of everything?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you. Well, sadly that's it. That's all we've got time for. But Stefan, Rolf, Donald, thank you for your time. And thank you to you for watching and for submitting all of the questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get through all of them. I saw them all on the screen there. I hope this has got you hungry for more Hybrid Horizons content. In a moment, I'm going to hand over to our host, Lucy Johnson, who will take you through what's on offer. I hope to also see you back here in the Motorsport Zone. But for now, from all of us here at Audi's F1 facility in Neuburg, goodbye and thank you, and enjoy the rest of Hybrid Horizons.